propulsion continues to be normal.
Our chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger roll with Atlantis.
Water towers can fly!
Tango Delta nominal.
Flight outside SC off. Bring in SC off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.
Live from Kennedy Space Center. Gosh, that never gets old to say. Live from Kennedy Space Center, it's another NSF live stream. You're looking at a Falcon 9 on Launch Complex 39A, carrying a Dragon capsule. It's a brand new Falcon 9 and a brand new Dragon capsule. We're going to take some cargo to the ISS today, hopefully, with a successful launch. So thanks for joining us. I'm Jack Beyer, Content Manager for NSF. And I'm joined today for some commentary of this launch by our usual cohort of capable commentators, starting off with Mr. Chris Gebhardt, Assistant Managing Editor of NASA Spaceflight. Chris, how are you doing today?
I am doing just fine. How about yourself, Mr. Jack?
No complaints. I do apologize if I sound a little extra weird today or extra nasally. I am getting over a cold. Also joining us out in the field, because you guys are out there. I'm back in California, but you guys get to be out there at Kennedy Space Center today on what looks like a really nice day. Also out there is Miss Julia Bergeron. Julia, how are you doing today?
Oh, Jack, I am doing wonderfully. It is actually extra nice to be outdoors today on this beautiful day for a daytime launch. So I'm excited to see this new hardware go to the space station today.
Indeed, and we'll get into all of the things that this cargo Dragon is taking to the space station. We'll answer your questions, so type at NASA Spaceflight into chat and throw your questions in there. But also joining us is the ever-capable Mr. Sawyer Rosenstein. Sawyer, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. It is sunny and a little breezy, and there is a rocket ready to go to space.
Excellent.
So I'd say that's a pretty good day so far.
Very good day. Dare I say you're doing Falcon-tastic? I don't know. We'll workshop it.
Oh, come on. You're dragging the stream down with that.
Wow. A plus,
Dragon.
buddy. A plus. Also, why do you have the
Wow.
coolest profile pic? I think of all of our pictures, yours is the cool one. We're going to need to up our game to match your vibes there. And I
When
think
they took the picture, they literally told me to do that hero pose, so that's what I did.
nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And then also on the stream is Alex Alcantarilla Romero. Hopefully I said that correctly. I just went whole hog.
Sorta.
Well, Alex, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hopefully everyone had a happy Thanksgiving this week out there in the US. We don't have that here, but still it's always good to see people having good week and good holiday, I guess.
Absolutely. And just happy to have another day launch. I think lessons learned from the last couple of weeks are night launch is bad, hydrogen bad, weather bad. Yeah, I think that rounds it out.
Night launch is awesome.
Okay, night launch is also good. Fine, I redact my statement.
Every launch good.
Okay, you know what? You guys, you're persuasive today. Every launch good. Unless it's kill missiles. Let's see. So yeah, do we want to go into a quick overview of the cargo that this capsule is taking to the ISS? It's a brand new cargo Dragon, right? Serial number C211, if I'm not mistaken.
You're exactly right, Jack. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about the capsule and what it is carrying. As you said, it's a brand new capsule, C211. It is the third of the 3 planned cargo Dragon vehicles. So the last new one that we have in the cargo arsenal. So that will be making its debut today on a fully brand new Falcon 9 rocket. The second stage, obviously, is brand new, as they always are. And the first stage is brand new as well, with B1076.1 making its debut flight. If you think that that booster looks a little bit odd in its livery, you are correct, because it's actually a Falcon Heavy side core and side booster that is just going to start its life as a Falcon 9, launching this particular CRS-26 mission up to the station. So, good question that we always get is what's on board, and there are a whole host of scientific experiments on board, including the Rev Bio experiment, which is one that is looking to further the evaluation of a bone adhesive. So basically, a way to, instead of using casts and splints, potentially use adhesives to heal bones when they are fractured. So that's a cool experiment that's going up. The Houston Methodist Research Institute also has an implantable drug delivery device that can be remotely operated. It can enable the controlled distribution of medicines within the human body as well. So that's another extremely exciting experiment going up today. And also from the University of Florida. It's the latest project in a series of tissue chip investigations funded by the National Institutes of Health. And basically, these are little cells, little chips that have human cells within them that they can put up there, and they can do various types of drug safety and efficacy experimentation on them before actually giving the drugs to people here on Earth. And as with most of the reasons we send things up to the International Space Station, the way microgravity begins to affect the way the cells distribute themselves, the lack of gravity allows more uniform distribution of the cells, which allows us better understanding of how medicines work, and can also help us understand how they are distributed throughout the body without the lack of gravity. So those are three very important scientific experiments that are on board this particular cargo dragon. But we must not forget the presents, the holiday food, and all of the goodies that are also going up to the crew.
Like a bunch of stale cinnamon buns, a bunch of like mushy candy canes because of the scrub.
Mushy candy canes. Well, like their holiday meals would part of their holiday meals would be on board, and we're also on board the Cygnus spacecraft that launched and the most recent Progress vehicle that launched from Russia, as well as gifts and everything from the crew's family members here on Earth, and all those little things to make the holidays not quite as, let's face it, lonely, because you are 400 kilometers, if you pass directly over your family members, away from them during the holiday season, and that can be tough on a lot of people. I say that as someone who has traveled and missed Christmas with families before for space events, so always try to make those little niceties known to the crews up there. And Sawyer, I think you've got something you wanted to say too.
I was just going to say, in addition to that, they also have some of the traditional things such as fresh fruit that they can't otherwise get, with the exception of the occasional lettuce and things they can grow. They also, I did see pictures before of them packing ice cream as well for the crew. Keep in mind the Dragon capsule does have a freezer on board, which is meant for samples that can be returned back that need to stay cold, such as tissue samples, but it can also be for snacks as well.
That's amazing. Wow. I mean, I want space ice cream, but not that cruddy freeze-dried stuff. Isn't it true that they actually never ate the freeze-dried like ice cream you always get in the gift shops at these places like Kennedy Space Center? They never had that on the...
Yeah.
I've heard that that's never actually gone up. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that, and as well as what is the ordering?
Tang?
Tang wasn't actually originally intended for the space station and space flight. So, by the way, speaking of the holidays, did you know that Bob and the crew of that ship actually had time to come back and enjoy a holiday themselves for Thanksgiving, seeing as there was a delay to the launch? So, I know the astronauts get excited, but I think it was pretty cool that Bob and its crew got to come back and enjoy.
Nice.
And Bob, of course, one of the recovery vessels and support vessels that go out with the drone ships and everything. And when there are fairings, to get the fairings as well.
I love that there's ships just named Bob and Doug. It's not going to ever get old to me.
It really won't. It really won't. I hope they're okay with it, as are Megan and Shannon, the other two vehicles as well. But at T-minus 30 minutes mark and counting, Falcon 9 is fueling for the liftoff of the CRS-26 mission here today. And at last check, weather looked very, very, very favorable for liftoff. A very few clouds are in the sky, and in fact, the few that are in the sky are not anywhere close to the kind that we would in any way be concerned about. So yay for that one.
Can I ask about that boat?
May indeed,
dare I
yes.
ask about the boat?
Okay, so there are a couple things here. That is most likely a security boat that is going out, part of the cadre that keeps everything clear. SpaceX and various operators are also allowed to technically be inside of the exclusion zone during some portions of the countdown. And for some countdowns now, and Julia, you can speak to this, some of the exclusion zones now include maritime viewing locations, which you can, with permission at certain points in when the hazard zones are actually active, you can actually, there's a corridor they allow you to go to those viewing locations out at sea. So it could be a boat, part of the security. It could be it could be someone who is just going to the northern maritime viewing location and is following that track. It could be a variety of things, but at 28 minutes to go, I would not particularly worry about it in that regard. And Sawyer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was speaking to one of those boaters ahead of the Artemis launch, and apparently at the 45th Space Command, where they keep track of the range, they have an entire screen up in their control that is looking at just what boats are in the exclusion zone. And if there's any boat that they know has been given clearance and that is okay to be within a certain part of that normal exclusion zone, they are actually marked by name on their map and can keep track of them basically to the nautical mile.
Neat. Really quickly, thank you, Snot Garden. Oh my God, that's terrible. What a terrible name. I'm sorry. Thank you for the support. Get a different name. They say thanks for the great coverage, launch after launch and scrub after launch. You're quite welcome. Thanks for the support. We'll keep doing it. You keep watching. We'll keep doing them. Gary. Yeah, right. Gary, thank you for the support. Very generous of you. Musical Wolves, what's up, dude? Saying, food on the Dragon's still good. I mean, we talked about the holiday goodies and the food and whatnot. I mean, how does that all work with the delay? Do they like take out the old stuff and put in new stuff with like late load procedures, or is it just going to keep anyways?
So to a degree, the answer is both. So some of the food is dehydrated, so you do not need to swap that out or anything like that. It is good for a really prolonged period of time. Because sometimes when you launch that type of food up to the International Space Station, it's months before the crew actually eats it. Some of the food items that would have been replaced are the perishable food items. So things like apples and oranges, pears, grapefruits, things like that they do send up. Those perishable things they will swap out of there. And in fact, one of the reasons that LC-39A is used for the cargo Dragon flights is because the crew access arm actually permits far easier late load storage and replacement of those perishable items in the events of scrubs like this. So actually earlier today, after they scrubbed on Tuesday, they swung the crew access arm back over, and overnight yesterday and into today, they were doing that exact same thing. They were swapping out the late load things that needed to be swapped out. There are also sometimes time-sensitive payloads and experiments that are on board, especially if there are things containing like mice and fruit flies and things like that sometimes need to be swapped out, and the crew access arm is a great way to do that, and we actually saw that retracted into its launch position earlier today. Sawyer.
Yeah, in fact, I was talking to someone once who was doing one of those mice in space experiments, and just like how a crew dragon has a backup crew, the mice have a backup crew as well. So there is a second set of moustronauts here on Earth that are ready to be replaced in the event of a delay.
All right, well, you officially win the award for cutest sentence I've heard this week.
The backup mice, yeah. Don't you just picture them like in their little habitats, like pumping iron, like getting ready, like we're the backup mice, yeah.
Yeah, slowly
Getting
walking
their
down
steak and egg
a
breakfast. Oh no, wait, they would have the pellet breakfast, I guess. So pellets
pellet,
and eggs.
yeah, pellet man.
Pellet steak and egg, yeah.
They're like walking slow motion down, a brightly lit corridor with,
Yes!
with aviator sunglasses on. Yeah, as a
We
as a
need to
group.
make this happen. Yeah. We
I will resist going too far down that rabbit hole or mouse hole. But good question from Musical Wolves. Eric Brewer, thank you for the support. They say, here's a bribe. Wish me a happy birthday. Hope all goes well today. But now I feel like if I do it, I've been bribed, which is weird. But either way, happy birthday. I do that of my own volition. I recuse myself from that super
I'll say
chat.
it, Jack.
Yeah, go for
How
it.
about I say it? Happy birthday.
Oh, that was a really good happy birthday. Jerwa is asking, what's up, Jerwa? Any microwave bacon on board? I certainly hope not.
Can
I
you
wonder,
can
has
you
bacon
imagine,
gone to the
Jack,
ISS? Do we know this?
a whole bacon scented ISS is kind of curious.
I bet it would smell better than whatever
I'm
it smells
sure
like
it
right now.
has. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason it couldn't go. I mean, it would have to be pre-cooked, but no reason it couldn't go. No.
If we got a chance to talk to someone at NASA that does the ISS food or is involved with that in any way, that would unashamedly be one of my first questions. Maybe my very first question. I should Google it. Anyways, thank you, Jerwa. Rough Rider Show saying any small critters on this flight, mouse, squid, etc. Maybe a crab. If you're on the NSF member Discord and get that, you're one of the OGs.
Oh boy.
Are there any critters on this flight?
Food. I have not personally heard of a rodent research on here. If it is, it's not one of the ones that they've super highlighted. But Sawyer is checking. There's usually always some sort of live experiment that goes up, but it might not always be mice. We do a lot with spiders and fruit flies and stuff like that as well.
It's like, hey, are you afraid of spiders? Do you want to go to the only place on that you can go to where there are no spiders? Go to space. Be on the ISS. Oh, by the way, we're sending spiders.
Can you imagine too being like having to check the spider enclosure every day and all of a sudden one's missing?
Oh God.
No.
No.
Oh man.
I don't see any.
Go ahead.
I don't see any animals, but I do see tomatoes. So that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other major thing that is on this mission, as we hit the 22-minute mark in our countdown of preparing in 2 minutes for that big T-minus 20-minute vent. But the other big thing that is on board are the IROSAs, the International Space Station Rollout Solar Arrays. So inside of Dragon's trunk, the external and pressurized trunk, are two new rollout solar arrays from Boeing. Contracted through Boeing as the prime contractor there, and they are the second of the 6 currently planned IROSAs that are going up to augment the 8 original solar array wings that were launched between 2000 and 2009. Those have degraded over time, as solar arrays and solar panels do. And these 6 new arrays that are being laid over the original arrays are smaller, more efficient, and will actually, in combination with the arrays that are currently on the station and the 6 new ones, will bring the space station's power generation capability back to what it was originally. This is really, 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 really good for science and everything that's coming up, as well as some of the modular expansions that are coming up with Axiom, even though they will have their own solar cells and technology on the outside of those new modules as well, but this is a huge part of it, and they are the third and fourth of the 6 that are going up, and there have been a few modifications made to them from the original 2, mainly from a crew use in space response. So one of the things that you always do is you design things, you test in the neutral buoyancy pool here on Earth, but things can always be different when you're actually in microgravity. And what the crew discovered in microgravity installing the first 2 is that they were harder to hold onto than originally anticipated. So they have increased and changed the grips and the positioning of them to make them easier for a crew member to sit there and hold. And right on schedule, we have our T-minus 20-minute vent, indicating that we have a happy and healthy Falcon 9 on the launch pad. That vent, for those of you who might be new to Falcon 9 launches, So the transporter erector, the big white strongback that sort of braces the rocket there on the right-hand side, that has all the propellant and fueling lines for the second stage, and the second stage fuels RP1 kerosene first, fuels all of that until about 22 minutes, then you purge all of the transporter erector lines like you're seeing now for a couple of minutes, and then that sets them up for liquid oxygen loading into the second stage. So what you're seeing basically is inerting the propellant lines within the transporter erector and getting everything ready for the switchover from loading RP1 kerosene to liquid oxygen into the second stage. And I was really trying to time that IROSA answer to be done right when the T-minus 20-minute vent started, and I was really happy I got there.
I could tell you were pleased with
Nailed it.
yourself. That was really good. Yeah, you deserve it. Sawyer,
It
Pat,
helps when you have a giant clock in front of you.
yeah, true. Sawyer, pat Chris on the back.
Back pat complete. Yes.
Excellent. Nocturnal Hunter, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. We appreciate our members so much. If you guys don't know, we have the membership program. It's a way you can support what we do. It's like a monthly amount. You choose the level. At the different levels, you get different perks. The perks are cool. They include cool members only emoji, like the ones I'm about to spam in chat right now because I can, because I'm a member. We have a member Discord at Capcom level and above. There's all kinds of cool stuff. So it's absolutely hugely important to what we do. We don't have to necessarily submit to the vagaries of the YouTube algorithm and make videos that it tells us to make. We can sort of rely on our members a little bit there too. It's like a whole mix. So if you want to be a member, we would really appreciate it, and we hope you enjoy the perks. Mike Kretsch, thanks for the support, and Brett Newbert, thank you for the support. He once launches filmed for VR. Wow, that would be really cool. We'll have to talk to Das. He's a busy man. Well, as
I know
the count,
that there was an attempt for that for Artemis, but yeah, it would be nice to eventually see a VR launch 360.
Yeah, wasn't there? There was a company that that had like a whole bunch of insane 360 cameras.
Studios with Meta. Yep.
Yeah, that was nuts. I wonder. I haven't seen any of that footage, or I wonder what's come of that, if anything, yet. Well, let's do some viewer questions. How about while we wait for the clock to continue ticking down?
Love it.
Bring him on.
We were talking about critters on Dragon earlier. Mikeru is asking, are there any mice on the ISS currently?
I do not believe there are any ongoing rodent experiments currently taking place on board the ISS.
Cool deal.
Usually
those usually go up and they try to come back down on very similar Dragon missions, or like they go up on a Cygnus with a Dragon following right behind to bring them down. And there aren't any on this one, and I don't remember hearing of live animals on the Cygnus, so I do not believe there are any ongoing rodent experiments on board the ISS right this second.
Gotcha. Tom C is asking, here, I'll send this one to Alex. Tom C is asking, do we know what the large cylinder next to the pad is yet? If you've noticed that large cylinder, and you're wondering,
I know
what
why you throw me that to me. Oh man,
there you
it's
can see
a
on
large
the right
tank.
side, of the frame right there.
Yeah, that one is mainly, well, we believe it is most likely a cryogenic tank. My bet is just on a liquid oxygen tank. I know there's been a lot of controversy about that, but speaking of liquid oxygen, we see there that the T-minus 20-minute vent has stopped. That means the liquid oxygen load on the second stage has begun right now. See there my segue? That was good.
Yeah, but it's less good when you point it out, or is it more good?
Okay, well.
By the way,
but, we're talking about liquid oxygen, so I was like, hey, I can mention that as well.
By the way, in regards to that tank, if you really want to get a great look at the tank at the pad, there's a flyover video that just came out, which includes some great looks at 39A and all of the tank work and construction that they're doing there to upgrade the pad ahead of Starship too.
There
dare
you
I
go.
say it's one of our best flyovers yet. So if you guys didn't know, we do those, we do, and they are quite good. And this one is itself top of the pack. So good plug there, Sawyer. Chris, pat Sawyer on the back.
I can verify there. Yep, back padding is done.
All right, complete. Move on to section 2, commentating.
How
James
about boost
Atkinson.
back burn?
Yes,
Oh,
please go. Where is this?
hey.
Where is this booster going to land, Julia? What drone ship?
This booster is going to land on, just read the instructions, and they are a mere 300 kilometers offshore. There is no fairing ship for this one because Dragon, no fairing, but Skipper Crosby, or Crosby Skipper, sorry, was the tug that brought her out, and Bob is a crew that went back out there to assist with securing the booster once it lands. Now, I would love for Chris maybe to clear this up, because part of this mission actually involves a boost back burn, and we used to get those for Dragon when it came back to landing zone. So can you maybe help our viewers with the 300 kilometers and why we're boosting back?
Yeah, so the simple answer is that recovering the boosters ultimately comes down to what is the total mass of your payload? What orbit are you trying to inject that into with the second stage? And that all of that really dictates how much propellant can be reserved in your first stage of the Falcon 9 booster for the landing attempt. So when you have enough margin, when the payload's light enough and the orbit you're trying to get it into is close enough, that you have enough propellant, you can do a full boost back burn, which actually doesn't just slow your forward velocity, but actually changes that velocity and arcs you back toward the Kennedy Space Center or Vandenberg, depending on where you're trying to land. And then you come back and you do the entry burn thereafter and the landing burn, and you touch down. If you don't have enough left, like on the Starlink missions, you have to make use of the drone ships about 600 kilometers downrange, 600 to 630 kilometers downrange from the launch site. But some missions, like the Cargo Dragon missions, have just enough performance to keep some of the propellant to do a boost back, but not to totally alter your trajectory to come back. So basically, you do a partial boost back burn, which is enough to slow your forward velocity and aim for a much closer entry. And that has a few different results on the booster. It lessens the overall stress and heating that the booster encounters when it comes back into the atmosphere. So it's a bit gentler in that regard. So it's less wear and tear on them versus the more downrange landings like Starlinks. So in this particular case, there will be a partial boost back burn, which will set the booster up for a landing approximately 300 kilometers northeast or downrange of the launch site off the coast of Georgia.
Very cool. Let's see. Christian is asking, is there cargo in the trunk?
Yes, indeed. Those are the IROSAs, the International Space Station Rollout Solar Arrays.
Oh, right. That makes sense because they're probably quite big.
Also, they don't need to be pressurized too. You don't need that steady environment because they're meant to be working in space the whole time anyway.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Braden Garcia is asking, are there people on it or no? There are not. At least I hope not. No stowaways. J-Trains Gaming says, feels weird. When was the last Starlink launch? and I expect Alex to answer within 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wait. Now, I'm ready. That was October 28th. So
be okay.
almost a month.
Okay.
That was actually from Vandenberg, so it doesn't count. We weren't able to see that.
What did I just hear?
The last time we were actually able to see a Starlink launch, that was October 20th from Pat 40. That was Starlink Group 436.
Got it.
Now,
But I didn't say
Alex?
anything bad.
Well, Alex, didn't I say I didn't think there would be another Starlink launch from Cape this year, and you said, "Oh, I bet there will be." Huh? Let's see
Yeah.
who wins that bet at the end of the year.
There are a few. They're just having a lot of trouble with juggling these launches around because they have had many delays. I'm calling, this weather and all of these payload delays and rockets misbehaving. They were readying for a flight from Vandenberg of a Starlink launch, and they have a couple of them more as well from the Cape. But customer flights just take priority, and they take priority until they get close to launch, and then when they get close to launch, things happen and they get delayed. So yeah, that's
The Vandenberg one is Starlink 4.2, isn't it? Or is it not 4.2?
the other way around. 2-4.
2-4.
Yep.
Thank you. That
And
one's
there's
been
another
like
one.
Oh,
that one's been like cursed.
2 for what?
Yeah.
2 for, is that like a deal you can get in our shop maybe
Stop
for
it.
the
Stop it. That is too good. Oh man. We do have a deal in the shop. Sawyer just did my segue for me. We have an awesome holiday deal in the shop, in fact, and a bunch of holiday merch. We have a super excellent sweater that Pauline made. There's all kinds. Speaking of Easter eggs on the flyover, there's all kinds of Easter eggs in the sweater itself. It's such a great design. So if you have any like ugly sweater competitions at work coming up, or you just want to impress your friends with how amazing your sweater is, get the sweater. It's a really, really great sweater. But we also have a deal going on for the holiday. There's multiple bundles with different discounts. There's a deal where if you get a hoodie and a metal print, you get a discount. You get 3 hoodies, you get a discount. And, some products are going to be leaving the store. I'm just going to say it. They're not all going to be in there forever. So, we got to make room for the stuff for 2023 and all the cool things that we're going to shoot and make in 2023. So, if there's something you like, you should probably get it now. Metal prints, whatever tickles your fancy. There are definitely some changes coming to the store. So, if there's a design you particularly like, make sure you snag it now, or forever hold your peace. I don't want to get any DMs on Twitter that are like, Jack, I didn't get it's too late. You should have got it now. But yeah,
Including
that's
those sweet
You're
Black
warned.
Friday deal sales. Yeah.
sure enough. Okay, James
I'm
Atkinson.
totally getting myself one of those sweatshirts. Even here in Florida, it seems like it would be hot, but with all the mosquitoes when we go out to these launches, covers your arms and looks awesome.
Well, and we even thought ahead for the warmer climates because you can get the holiday sweater design in T-shirt form,
Nice.
and coffee mug form, and tea mug form. However, it floats your boat. But we definitely did remember everyone this time of year who is in warm climates and would not like a sweater. Yes.
Okay, James Atkinson asked this multiple times. I added it to our question queue, and then James wanted to know so bad he did a super chat too. Can they send carbonated drinks to the ISS? If so, which way do the bubbles go? I think I've seen video of that when the bubbles just kind of like exist in the bubble of, or in the sphere of liquid, right?
That's exactly right. The direction the bubbles travel depends on if you're applying pressure by sucking them up through the straw or not. But yes, carbonated beverages have totally gone to space before. In fact, there was if you've got your bingo card out, space shuttle flight.
Hey,
there you go.
Pepsi, right? They tried Pepsi and Coke in space.
But no, they literally did Pepsi versus Coke on the shuttle. So yep, it happens. We totally sent it. Yep, no reason it can't.
The story
yes, the Polar
days
Wars
of the
literally
90s.
went to space.
They did. That's a fun fact. We're getting close. 7 minutes here. I'm going to run through some more questions as I can. But I know you guys are going to have to button up here in a minute and get ready for launch. Where did that go? Martian Meals, thank you so much. Or no, Martian Metals, thank you so much for gifting Ted Ren Team memberships. That's awesome of you. If you just got a membership from Martian Metals, thank them in chat. I love that people can sort of experience the membership program via gift, because the membership program rules, and I know a lot of people will like it. So Will Cooper, very, very generous super chat. Thank you so much. They say, will the 3 Falcon 9 boosters recently expended be replaced with new rockets? Presumably. Alex, I mean, they're just constantly churning out new Falcon 9s, right? So yes.
Yeah, they're putting out more Falcon 9 boosters. This one, for example, will also be introduced into the fleet. It's gonna launch eventually on a Falcon Heavy as a Falcon Heavy side booster with another one, B1073. But in the meantime, it's gonna fly as a Falcon 9 booster, so it's gonna be introduced in the fleet as well. Also, we have B1073, but then we also have a couple of other boosters that are very, very old. So those eventually might also get replaced as well. We don't know yet if that's going to be via, a retirement, the Viking way, basically expended, or maybe displayed somewhere else. We'll see. But yeah, expect some retirement soon as well in that front, probably.
Cool
Yep.
deal. All right, Chris, Sawyer, you guys are going to jump off commentary and get the camera ready for launch, right?
At least just me. I won't speak for Sawyer on that regard. But yes, I will be with you all after launch.
Cool deal.
I am going to do the same then. I will hop off, but I will return. Beware of the
Much-
return of Sawyer 2. More jokes, worse jokes.
I was going to say, much like General Douglas MacArthur, you shall return. No one will get that, but I say it because I think
Dragon
it's funny.
is in terminal count
Boo.
and is on internal power.
Vehicle tanks
All right, good
pressing
deal.
for strong
Nice.
vacuum track.
I'm going to join the crew of those who are going off comms for a little bit. So have fun, Jack. Have fun, Alex.
All right, brace everybody. You are left with just Alex and myself.
Oh boy, that's dangerous.
Oh wow! Super generous super chat again from Joe, North Carolina. I'm guessing that's what NC means. They say
Wow.
watched hours of Voyager documentaries yesterday from Shuttle Generation. We appreciate the science you bring to us. Well, we appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much to you and everyone who's doing the super chats, everyone who's gifting the memberships or becoming a member. It's so key to helping us do what we do, keeping the lights on, keeping all the data paid for all of the robot army. It's a big operation here, so thank you so much. All right, so in about 2 minutes, we're going to get another vent from the vehicle. But there you can see the little claw. Oh, what is the technical name of that? It's opening up and getting ready for the strongback to retract.
It's just the top clamps of the strongback. It doesn't really have. I don't think it really has a technical name.
Because remember the ship QD at Starbase had the lobster claw that they took off. I wonder if this is like the crab claw or something. There, and you can see the strongback starting to retract into its pre-launch position. It moves back. Oh gosh, I should know this number. Some number of degrees, and then at launch it throws back even more to avoid the plume of the engines. I was half expecting you, Alex, to be like, it's actually 14.2 degrees.
Yeah, I actually don't always remember that that number. It's like 1.5 degrees, sort of. There's a more
Stage
precise
1,
number for that. And there you go.
Stage 1, Pogo.
That means the first stage has been loaded with liquid oxygen, and they're doing the testing on the Pogo accumulator on the vehicle. That's the system that allows them to avoid the Pogo oscillations on the rocket to basically destroy it. Which
Yeah,
you don't want that to happen.
Famously, Saturn V had some issues with Pogo.
Yep.
It sounds like terrifying, absolutely terrifying to ride on a rocket with Pogo. Let's see here.
Especially without music.
All right, at 2 minutes, we're going to see another vent indicating that's the second stage purge, right? Or second stage fuel lines purging, right?
Yeah. Coming up next should be the stage 2 lux load complete. It should be in about 10 to 15 seconds, and that's going to be the time where they're going to be purging all the lines in the stromback, and we're going to see a huge event. That's normal. Let's wait for that.
Stage 2, lux load complete.
There you go.
Dragon is in auto idle.
Okay. Now they're going to go into the ground gas closeout. A lot of venting. That's totally normal. And then we're going to go into startup
Gas
when
launch
the...
closeout.
There you go, gas closeouts. They're going to go into the... They're going to transition from the ground controls of the countdown to the onboard controls on the vehicle. That's going to be the Falcon 9 startup call at T-1 minute.
I love the wind direction today, the nice weather we're getting. This is just going to be quite a picturesque launch.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Dragon is in countdown.
There we go.
Yep, there we go. 50 seconds to go, just about.
That should be the go for launch from the launch director.
Go for launch.
Go for launch from Mike Taylor, the launch director for this mission.
Go Falcon, go Dragon.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Let's send some snacks and some science to the ISS. 20 seconds.
Stage 1, pressing for flight.
15 seconds. minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff of CRS-26. Go Falcon and happy Thanksgiving ISS.
Go, baby!
Vehicles pitching downrange.
And Miko. Stage separation confirmed. Stage 1 boost back startup. Stage 2 ignition. Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
I don't know what it was. You know, after something as big as Artemis with that much thrust, you expect it to be like, all right, it's just a Falcon 9. What could it be? No, this one still packed a really big punch. I gotta say, there's some kind of reverb in the air or something that just, oof, that had a good punch to it. You feel that one in the chest.
Nice. Every launch is different. Sometimes you get a good punch in the face when you're not expecting it. I think the best sounding launch I've ever heard was just a random Atlas out of Vandenberg one night when the conditions were just right. That I mean, no No launch except for maybe a Falcon Heavy or an SLS, I think could
Both
compare.
vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
You heard it. Both vehicles following nominal trajectories. The booster is coming up on its landing burn, and the second stage is continuing to push Dragon into orbit. This is always a fun part of launch when you can watch the dueling speed telemetry indicators down there at the bottom.
And while we're between phases at the moment, I do just want to point out here at the press site, there's a group of people who have an experiment on board this mission. I'm not sure exactly which one, but just to see their reaction and hear it of, we're going to space, I believe I heard at one point, is really cool.
I don't know if I heard distinct words, but I definitely heard jubilation through the audio there. That was excellent.
Now should be coming
Need
up
more
on
than
the
just
entry
Chris.
burn.
Yeah, it was not quite like as
Stage one
shrieky, so I could
FTS
tell it
is
wasn't
saved.
Chris. Here we go. Entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Yep.
Sorry, Chris. That was an easy dunk. I'm sorry.
Even worse, he's not on headset, so we didn't hear it, so I have to relay it to him.
Entry burn startup.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Hang on, he's got a comment. He's coming back on as we come up for the shutdown of that burn there.
And there we go. It's shut down. Second stage continuing to do its thing.
Yeah, see what happened, I was quiet because I had to scream while tracking with a camera in one hand, so I could only do a single fist pump. My apologies.
Chris, are you on the audio, the SLS launch audio that I uploaded for members on our channel?
I'm immensely sure I am, because my scream was certainly loud enough at 102 decibels.
I think you were relatively near me, but I was so in the oh, look at the grid fins. I was so in the zone shooting the launch, I wasn't like quite aware of how close you were. But yeah, if you guys want to hear Chris like truly freak out at a launch, go check out the SLS uncut launch footage with audio of crowd reactions. Oh, we're gonna come down through
Stage 1
the
landing
cloud.
burn.
Heck yes.
Yeah, look at that.
That's just spectacular.
I love when you can see it like pushing the cloud out of the way below it.
Right.
Landing like
All right.
Here we go.
Coming up on landing. Leg deploy.
And
boop.
Nailed it.
Stage 1 landing.
That's a landed rocket.
Which is what we want to see in the second stage, still firing away about 7,000 kilometers an hour to go in acceleration before it is in orbit, but doing its job. And look at that, a landing of the Falcon 9. Points deducted for not being on center, but you know.
It's its first landing. Come on, give it a break.
It's still learning.
H2 terminal
It
guidance.
needs to read the instructions.
There we go. Very good, Alec. Very good.
What an absolutely spectacular launch so far. Fantastic views.
And you could hear there that the flight termination system on stage 2 has saved. That's the part of it getting itself ready for engine cutoff, and it should be in terminal guidance at this point, waiting for cutoff.
Excellent. A little bit of some ice floating around. That's totally normal. And Seco.
There we go. Dragon is in orbit.
What we want to hear.
Very cool.
Nominal
so
orbit
now,
insertion.
Was that a nominal orbital?
Yep.
Yeah, nominal orbit. Excellent, excellent.
Haha. I can see some familiar faces there.
Yeah, who do we have in mission control? Oh, darn it.
Well, I saw Jessica Jensen on the corner.
Nice.
Oh, and actually, this is a look from the top of the second stage into the trunk.
You can see the eye
and
roses.
Yes, the IROSAs, exactly. The two ISS rollout solar arrays that are tucked inside the trunk there were visible. They'll go back to that for Dragon separation, which is about 11 and a half minutes after liftoff, because they let the propellants in stage 2 settle down before popping the Dragons off the top of stage 2.
Who manufactured the iRosa? Was it Apple?
I wish. Very good, very good. Prime contractor was
Boy.
Boeing.
Boeing, got it.
And others contributed to it. The solar technology came from somebody else as well, whose name I'm sorry. They said it in an interview. I'm blanking on the name. Redwire. Thank you. Yes, Redwire.
Yeah.
Redwire. Thank you,
I knew
Alex.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that name sounded familiar. At least I had it in my mind. So
Yeah. So Boeing and Redwire. Yes.
All right, so just about 30 seconds or so from Dragon.
What's it called again? What is it called
the
again?
IROSAs?
Hi, Rosa.
There
I'm
we
sorry.
go.
Oh my God.
I knew there was a dad joke in there. The way he looked at me.
Yeah. I think we all
don't pat
knew.
him on the back for this one.
All right,
Please
about
don't.
15 seconds or so from Sep.
Yeah, should be coming up on the separation of the Dragon here in about 30-ish seconds. And again, that's to let the propellants that are left over, the residual propellants in the second stage, they sort of slosh around when the engine cuts off, and giving them time to settle down lessens any dispersions and potential recontact when Dragon separates from the top of Falcon 9.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's in zero gravity, and when the engine's firing, all the propellant is settled on the bottom bulkhead, and then when the engine cuts off, that entire blob of propellant is going to now float around inside the tank, whether it's RP1 or LOX, and you don't want
blob
that.
is a good way to put it.
Yeah, you don't want that that sloshing around to cause any kind of potential recontact or anything. Recontact bad.
Yeah. Yes, very bad in this case. So coming up here momentarily on the separation of Dragon, and should get some good views of it as it flies away here with the two IROSas tucked into the trunk of Dragon.
Dragon separation
Few more
confirmed.
seconds. Oh, there we go.
And now you can see, watch the front parts of there, because you can
separation
sometimes see the little pulses of the Draco thrusters. There you go. You can definitely see Dragon's Draco thrusters firing there as it moves away from the top of the second stage, with a good look into the 2-fin trunk instead of the 4-fin trunk there.
What's up with that?
Great question, Jack. Yes. So the fins are primarily for aerodynamic stabilization, and you need all 4 of them on the crew variants of Dragon, because they help in the stabilization of Dragon when the Super Dracos are firing, pulling it away from the top of a failing Falcon 9, but you don't need all of them for the cargo Dragons, so they eliminate the ones that they do not need.
Makes sense.
Saves
More
mass
thruster
that can
firings.
instead be used for more cargo.
More cargo, more better.
And it's also worth noting too that Dragon, in addition to Cygnus and Soyuz, Cygnus and Progress, excuse me, obviously the 3 currently active cargo resupply vehicles in the fleet for the International Space Station. Dragon is currently the only one that can bring cargo back safely for recovery. So any science experiments, biological experiments that need to get things back for study here on Earth, Dragon is currently the only ship that can bring them back. Dream Chaser is scheduled to debut next year or the year after that on operational missions. It will also be able to return a significant amount of down mass cargo from the ISS. And later in I believe it is still 2023, HTV-X is supposed to debut from JAXA. It is the upgraded HTV or Conatori resupply vehicle. It has a launch vehicle of the H3 rocket, which just underwent a static fire test. So that one should be on tap for a launch debut sometime next year as well. And those are the cargo vehicles for the ISS.
Cannot wait for Dream Chaser. So excited for Dream Chaser. Team Space Plane. Team Lifting Body.
Indeed.
Don't have to tell us here twice. You got 2 shuttle guys.
Can I be a shuttle guy? Can I like add myself officially to the ranks? I don't have the depth or breadth of knowledge that you guys do, but I do love the shuttle.
You know, I have a question.
I mean,
Will that be the first time
the only
the
way to
US...
do it is if you thermal blanket yourself in all the info.
Oh my god. Alex.
Will it be the first time the US has 2 active space planes? Because the X-37B is also around. But I guess I think the first flight
Yes,
of
it
the
would be.
X-37B
Yeah, I'm checking with Chris. I
was when
believe the answer is yes, that would be.
Because I think the first flight of the X-37B was right after the space shuttle retired, I think. I think it was 2011 or something. Yeah.
Fun
yeah,
fact.
X-37B flew after the shuttle retired, yes.
Okay, yeah. That's 2 space planes.
Maha, thanks for the support. Smooth Juice, thank you.
Noscone is now opening, by the way.
Excellent. That's where the docking port is, so we want that nose cone to be open. John, thank you for the support and the happy Thanksgiving wishes. Musical Wolves, thank you. They're asking if the Maestronauts get wings. No Maestronaut on this one.
They get tails.
They should get a little mini pin. They should.
Yeah, absolutely. And like aviators and a leather bomber jacket, you know, the whole Shiny Bad Guy, thanks for the support. They say, have you asked if you could tag along with the crew on one of the recoveries? I don't think we've asked that, but I'm almost certain the answer would be no. I wish there was more things in life where you could just sign a waiver and do X or Y hazardous thing. Remy Turk, thanks for the support. They say, any guesses as to the survival chance of a hypothetical stowaway? Is there even...
since there's a limited life support system
Thank
on
you.
board, not great.
Yeah, I don't... No stowaways on Dragon, please. The Captain Fuzzy, thanks for your support and kind words. Maha, thank you again for the support. Dougal, what's up, Dougal? Always around, always hanging out, always being cool. Thank you for gifting the 5 Red Team memberships there. Chad, if you got a membership from Dougal, thank him, please. And enjoy your member perks.
Hey, you know what? I just
What's
thought
up?
of something.
What'd you
Haven't
think
we
of?
had a gorilla stowaway in the past?
What?
A gorilla.
Is that from like the Space Camp movie from the 80s or
I don't know if
something?
Chris
What am
remembers that, but I
No,
remember one of the Kellys. I believe it was Scott Kelly.
Yep.
He
Did
he
bring a
brought
mask?
he brought a whole gorilla suit, and when nobody was paying attention, he got out the suit and scared the bejesus out of everybody on the station.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
There's a fantastic video of like, I mean, to a certain extent, there was a plan for this between a couple of them. But there's a great video of like an astronaut just going through the ISS, and then they turn around and they come, and I'm going to use running in air quotes because they're running by like grabbing handrails and flinging themselves, and then just Mark in a gorilla suit comes out after them. Like, it was a really cool thing they played on Mission Control.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. We think of astronauts as very serious at all times. Every time you get a little bit of fun like that, you gotta really appreciate it. That's hilarious. Test T, thank you for the support. They say I love your live streams. Oh, Nosecone.
Yep, there we go. It's opening. It takes time because the Nosecone itself uses the docking port to secure itself during flight, but then it has to get unhooked from that docking port and then it opens.
It's like a docking port cap / aerodynamic nose cone.
Yep. It's also an elegant way because you might think, well, how do I actually lock in the nose cone for the docking port protection, right? It's like, well, you use the docking port itself to hook it into the spacecraft. That's kind of a smart thing, I guess.
No, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole other separate mechanism. Although I'm sure there's like latches and whatnot, but just don't. Basically, you can't do what I and I'm sure everybody else does in Kerbal, where you just put a docking port exposed on the top of your vehicle. At least until you get enough science for the closed one. I love this view. It's quite. It feels epic,
can
like
see-
almost monumental. Ba, ba.
You can see that mechanism there, the lid, how that goes into the docking mechanism.
That black ring that we just saw.
Yep.
Oh,
with
that's
the
cool.
with the latches and things like that.
What is that bright? Is that the moon?
Is that the moon? moon.
Moon.
What a cool shot. That wouldn't be the second
Orion
stage, right?
should be
like
over
reflecting.
there, I guess.
Huh.
That could be also, yeah.
I'm gonna
Might
guess
turn
it's the
around.
moon. Testy, shout out to you, Tessie and Marty. Thank you for the support. Eric, thanks for becoming a Capcom member. You get Discord access. Come hang out in Discord. Find a channel for you, whether it's the gaming channel or the SpaceX channel or the sports ball channel.
Oh man.
There is a World Cup sub-variant of the sports ball channel, and it is
Very
wild.
proud of those 7 goals. Just saying.
All right. Well, what's Dragon? What's up for Dragon next? It's got its nose cone open. It is separated from the second stage. It is heading to the ISS, right?
Yep, it's gonna dock to the International Space Station. It's scheduled for tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That should be 12:30 UTC.
Excellent. Oh, Nikon's in space. Thank you for the support there. All right. Well, let's do a couple more questions. How about? Mike is asking, why is CRS-27 launching so soon after this one? Alex?
Yeah, so the spacing of this is largely just dictated by when NASA needs the supplies up on the International Space Station. So it's not always about, making sure they're always 3 months apart from one another or anything like that. In this case, with the Cygnuses and the Dragons this year, NASA needed, it's January for the next one, right? January.
Yes.
So NASA just needed 26 and 27 together within 6 or 7 weeks of each other for the launching of them, and that's just how it worked out this time round. Because when was CRS-25? That was a while ago at this point now. So there's been a gap. So it just literally comes down to when NASA needs the supplies.
This one is also a little bit longer than the usual CRS mission for SpaceX. It's going to be a roughly 45-day on the ISS. It's usually 30, so it's going to be a little bit longer there as well.
Very cool. All right, well, with Dragon on its way to the ISS, I think we can call it a day for the live stream. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Go hang out at Space Coast Live, maybe, and get cool views like this of the empty launch pad after a launch. They will raise... Do they raise up the strong Mac and then put it down, or do they just put it down from this position?
They first put it back down and disconnect everything and just inspections and everything.
Very cool. All right, well, Alex, thanks for joining us on the stream.
Always a pleasure, you know that.
Absolutely. And Chris, thanks.
Indeed. A good launch for Falcon and Dragon. Looking forward to docking tomorrow morning.
Julia, thanks as always.
You're most welcome, Jack. And I just want to thank our viewers today and our members and those who just follow us tweeting. And I was happy to be here today.
We were happy to have you there. And Sawyer. Sawyer, great job on the jokes today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I kind of feel bad for my girlfriend who has to put up with them all the time now, but yes, I appreciate that some of you guys enjoy them and enjoy the coverage. And thank you all for watching and for your support.
Cool deal. Well, once again, I'm Jack Beyer, and that has been another NASA Spaceflight live stream. We hope you enjoyed it. Let's all go hang out at Space Coast Live. See you later, nerds.